Tuesday, January the 17th, regular meeting of the School Board of Charlotte County is hereby called to order. Here in Charlotte County, we will achieve our vision of student success through our mission. We will provide an innovative educational environment that allows and inspires success for everyone. To lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag today, I'd like to invite Mary Fred from the Educational Foundation. If you'd like to come and lead us in the pledge, since you've got an important agenda item here with us tonight, we'd appreciate it. Please stand and join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That was Mary Fred Clemens from the Charlotte Local Education Foundation. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any additions and corrections to tonight's agenda?
We have one addition tonight, and that is agenda item H1G, contracts and agreements.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the addition of item H1G, contracts and amendments. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We're going to recess the regular board meeting and call a public hearing to order for purposes of some school board policies that require revisions. These policies were discussed at length in more than one school board workshop, and as they go through the process of advertisement, 21 days kind of thing, tonight is the night that we have them before the public. So, Mr. Superintendent.
I'm bringing the following policies to the board this evening for revision. Policy 1420, 3420, and 4420, benefits. Policy 2370, education options. Policy 2423.01, career and professional education. Policy 2510, adoption of instructional materials. Policy 5330, medical treatment and medication administration. Policy 5460, graduation requirements. Policy 5464, accelerated graduation options. And finally, Policy 7450, property inventory.
Are there any questions on any of those policies? I know we discussed them in workshops, but it's possible another question came up since then. Seeing none, are there any citizens who are here tonight that wish to speak before any of these policy proposals? Seeing none, if there's no objection, we will close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting. Mr. Superintendent, do we have a recommended action on those policies?
Yes, I do. And this evening I'm bringing the following policies to you with a recommendation for school board approval. The revised policies are 1420, 3420, and 4420, benefits. Policy 2370, education options. Policy 2423.01, career and professional education. Policy 2510, adoption of instructional materials. Policy 5330, medical treatment and medication administration. Policy 5460, graduation requirements. Policy 5464, accelerated graduation options. And Policy 7450, property inventory.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the board policies that are before us for revision. Is there any board discussion? I would just like to mention that many of these policies, for the public's knowledge, many of these policies are really adapting to state statutoral changes, and so they're just little tweaks in the law that we then have to respond to. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Reports. We have a recognition of National Mentoring Month. Mr. Superintendent.
This evening, I'm pleased to bring to you for recognition our Take Stock in Children mentors who make a difference, significant difference, in the lives of 57 of our students who are currently in the program in Charlotte County. And we want to recognize them and thank them for the efforts they make. As you are aware, mentoring is one of the most significant interventions in helping children who are failing learn to succeed. And mentoring has shown that it makes a huge difference in the lives of children. Ruby Payne's work on dealing with children in poverty, one of the 4 gateways out of poverty is education. The second gateway out of poverty is mentoring. And the Take Stock in Children program puts those 2 pieces together and really makes a significant difference in the lives of many of our children who live in poverty or right on the margins. So it's a pleasure to recognize these folks this evening. So I'm going to ask Mary Fred if you would come to the podium. Emily, are you going to join her? Or if Emily Lewis, if you would then come forward as well. And we're going to come down front and help greet these folks.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Whitaker and school board members. Kind of took our speech right out of the way, so this is quick and efficient government at work here.
Worth repeating.
Before we bring our mentors up, I just have one real quick poem that I'd like to read for you, and it was written by someone who was obviously mentored. It's called My Mentor, My Friend. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to learn from you. When I was seeking so much knowledge, when I was asking so many questions, you patiently listened and answered accordingly, never showing signs of frustration. Thank you for taking the time to show me the necessary skills today that will lead me with confidence into tomorrow, for believing in me and having enough faith to share your work, your dreams, and your vision. Thank you for accepting me as I am with all my eagerness and my sheer joy over the little things. You never tried to squelch that spirit in me. Instead, you encouraged that spirit, and for that, I do thank you. I realize the knowledge I need for work can be learned anywhere, taught by most anyone, but the life skills I needed to go along with it, well, that would have been taught by a very unique individual with a very special gift for giving, the gift of patience and understanding. That someone is you, my mentor, and now my friend. So we have with us tonight some of our very special mentors who are working with our kids, and to share with you just real quickly. One of our mentors came up right before the meeting, and she was just so excited because her student went from D's and F's this past grading period to C's and B's. So it's kind of nice to see the rewards that come from this program, and we believe very strongly in it. So with that, I think we have Diane Wyatt, who is also our student advocate, to help present the awards to our mentors. And with us tonight, we have Cindy Allen. Ms. Allen, if you'd please come forward.
Thank you very much.
Denise Castanen. Ms. Annette Emmerich, who also serves on the board of directors for the Charlotte Local Education Foundation. Jane Merriam, who was responsible partly for those great academics that we just saw. Miss Andrea Messina. This one's also truly one of my favorite people, Miss April Prestipino.
I'm on 6 minutes here.
Miss Hope Schmidt. And finally, our 2011 statewide Mentor of the Year, Mr. Mike Riley. We also have one very special award for one of our mentors who's not here tonight. Beth Johnston is receiving an award as Mentor of Distinction. Beth has been with our program since 2003, has mentored many, many students at Lemon Bay High School throughout the program, has also been chairman of Project Graduation for that school. So we want to recognize Beth for her accomplishments and her contributions to our kids and our program. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Superintendent, do we have any old business tonight?
No, we do not.
All right, then we shall move to new business, the consent agenda with the addition of the contract under letter G.
And I'm pleased to bring to you tonight the consent agenda and all of the items included in that, and it is my recommendation that the school board approve the consent agenda as presented to you tonight.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Action item, the independent audit for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2011. Mr. Superintendent, it was a good audit. And
It was.
Would you remind us, my recollection is that in prior years, as a district, we did not have to actually pay for this. It was provided by the state, but this year we actually had to pay.
That is correct. The state has set a threshold, a district population threshold, that determines whether or not the state performs an audit for the district or the district pays for their own. And that threshold, of population threshold, is 150,000 people based on the last census. Having finalized that data, we now exceed 150,000 students, so we now have the privilege of paying for our own audit.
At a cost of?
About $50,000.
Okay, just wanted
So we
to be
appreciate
reminded.
the
Thank
gift.
you. It's good
given to
information.
us. It is, but we were very pleased with the outcome of the audit, which was very positive. So I'm very pleased to be able to bring this recommendation to you this evening. I do recommend school board approval and acceptance of the independent audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2011.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the independent audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2011. Is there any board discussion? I just wanted to make note of the 4.5% unappropriated reserve at a very, very difficult time. So that was good work by the finance team. And any further board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. The annual audit of internal accounts, which is different from the external accounts.
Yes, this audit looks at, for the public's information, looks at the receipts and expenditures of the school activity funds, fundraising activities at the school level, parent-teacher organizations, band clubs, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm pleased to have Benji Dees, who conducted this audit, come this evening and give you a brief summary of the results of that audit before I make my recommendation.
Welcome, Mr. Dees.
Mr. Dees?
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Messina, members of the board, Dr. Whitaker. It's a privilege to be here tonight to present to you the independent auditor's report on the Charlotte County Public Schools internal funds for the year ending June 30th, 2011. You have each received a copy of the bound reports. Those reports that you have in front of you contain the recorded cash receipts and disbursements for the internal funds for all 21 schools, the recommendations and comments for each individual school, a combined copy of the recorded cash receipts and disbursements for all the schools together, and in the back, the individual management letter for the district itself. Each school received a copy of their individual school report, and we actually conducted an exit conference with each principal, each bookkeeper. Randy Wiley from your district staff was also there in each individual exit conference. We discussed each individual school's financial affairs and also their recommendations and comments that we made on their individual school. All of the principals, bookkeepers, all staff were very receptive, very positive in the discussion regarding the individual schools' comments and recommendations that we made. We then had an exit conference with Dr. Whitaker, members of his staff, Chairman Messina, where we discussed individually all the individual schools. We looked at the financial activity, we looked at the summary information for each individual school, and again discussed particular comments and recommendations for these schools. We also discussed the management letter that we have previously mentioned, the comment about the segregation of duties, and also the recent actions and advances that the school district have made in trying to solve those particular segregation of duties issues that we run against at each individual school. We continue to see improvements in all the schools. Again, this year we had 5 schools that had no recommendations, perfect audits, no recommendations or comments at all. And I think that's the same numbers we had in the previous year. And we're very happy to report those to you. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to address them at this time.
Questions for Mr. Dees? Mr. Swift, is that a hand?
Yeah.
Questions?
Good work.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Superintendent, do we have a recommendation?
I do. Before I give that to you, let me just publicly recognize Charlotte Harbor Center, East Elementary School, Myakka River Elementary School, Port Charlotte Middle School, and the School and Community Relations Departments for their fully compliant, I guess we would call it perfect audit, which is not easy to do.
No.
Not easy to do. So they were by the book. So I'm pleased to bring this recommendation to you tonight and ask for the school board's acceptance of the annual audit of internal accounts.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the annual audit of internal accounts. Is there any board discussion? I just wanted to also publicly acknowledge Randy Wiley, who happens to be in the audience, because my suspicion is that those 5 schools who got perfect audits made good use of his skills and talents on a regular basis to ensure that that was the case.
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item C is the waiver of right of first refusal, Abundant Life Assembly of God. Mr. Superintendent.
I'm bringing this request before you this evening and asking for your approval for the board to waive the right of first refusal on the sale of this church property at the Abundant Life Assembly of God. And as you may recall, this is a vacated church on the corner of Taylor and Cooper Street, adjacent to our Charlotte High campus. We no longer have interest in purchasing that property, so I'm recommending to you this evening that you approve to waive the right of first refusal on this property.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the waiver of right of first refusal, which kind of sounds a little odd. We're voting to not purchase.
That's correct.
But that's what we have to do because we have the right of first refusal. So, any board discussion, Mr. Swift?
I just wanted to be sure that nothing in this contract for sale abrogates our rights, our leasehold rights on that parking lot for the next however many years are left in that lease. That lease is protected.
It does not. Those rights are protected. That lease endures the sale of the property.
Just wanted to be sure.
Any other board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries unanimously. Final inspection, Meadow Park Elementary School, Phase 2 remodel. Mr. Superintendent.
I'm very happy to bring to you this evening the recommendation to accept and approve the final inspection for Meadow Park Elementary School, Phase 2 remodel, renovation, and new construction.
So moved.
Second.
It's Been moved and seconded that we accept and approve the final inspection for Meadow Park Elementary School. Any board discussion? It's a beautiful school, Jean. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Final pay request, Meadow Park Elementary School Phase 2 remodel.
And following the acceptance of the final inspection, we're now requesting your approval for a final pay request for Owens Ames Kimball Company in the amount of $1,315,598.45 for the Meadow Park Elementary School Phase 2 remodel renovation and new construction.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the final pay request for Meadow Park Elementary School. Any board discussion? I don't see Mr. Olivo, so that means poor Mr. Spur. I was going to have to see if he can answer this question for me. Mr. Spur, to your memory knowledge, it seems to me that with this final pay request, Meadow Park Elementary School actually came in at a cost less than Sally Jones was all those years ago. Is that correct?
That I couldn't say. I know we returned close to $1.5 million from the original GMP, but I don't know those two numbers off the top of my
Okay.
head.
But it's down around 12 million and change here, so. Okay. Any further board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item F, reduction in retainage, Lemon Bay High School for Phase 3, which is now open.
It is. They have moved in.
Indeed.
So this evening I'm requesting your approval of the reduction of retainage for Lemon Bay High School remodel, renovation, and new construction Phase 3, the 3-story building and the main gymnasium, from 10% to 5%.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the reduction in retainage for Lemon Bay High School Phase 3. Board discussion. Mr. Vincent.
You're so used to Mr. Swift, you just assume. Dr. Whitaker, just for the record, would you mind putting on the record why we're reducing this from 10 to 5?
When substantial completion, and Gene, if I get this wrong, please stand up and wave your arms. Once substantial completion has been met and we take occupancy of a building, we reduce the money we're holding back until the final checklist, until that final approval is made that we just had on Meadow Park, and then the final 5% is released. So this is sort of a good faith. It really looks good. We're in. It's ours. But we hold back 5% until the punch list is complete. Is that correct?
I just wanted to have it on the record. We talked about that this afternoon, but just to have it there. Thank you.
It's kind of a matter of, because we've built so many schools in the last few years.
We know how to do it.
We're used to doing this, yeah. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is the interim salary schedule. Mr. Superintendent, I believe this now reflects the new minimum wage.
It does. So I am bringing to you the interim salary schedule, requesting your approval for the revisions for 2011-2012.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the interim salary schedule. Is there any board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 2012-2013 school calendars, which we discussed earlier today at our workshop, which is where a lot of the meat and potatoes of school board business gets done.
I am pleased to bring to you for approval, and our parents and employees are pleased that we're doing this so they can get on with their plans for the summer. But I'm bringing the requested school calendar for the 2012-2013 regular and year-round school calendars.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2012-2013 school calendars. And is Ms. Mellinson here? Just as a final verification, the spring break times are still coordinated with Charlotte County, or Sarasota County, correct? Okay. Didn't know if you heard any new information later this afternoon that would negate that. Great, thank you. Further board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item, the PACE, Professional Accountability for Charlotte Educators Revised Plan. Mr. Superintendent.
As we discussed this morning in workshop, again, another item that we workshop today, this plan is a plan in progress. So we're bringing to you the latest iteration of this plan as we continue to build it. We have an obligation to the state of Florida through the Race to the Top grant to get school board approval of pieces of this as we move forward. And so we need to send to them verification that the school board has approved the PACE plan as far as it has been designed to this point. So I am asking for your approval of the Professional Accountability for Charlotte's Educators PACE revised plan this evening.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the PACE plan, revised plan. Any board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Personnel action.
And finally, this evening, I'm bringing to you for approval the personnel action.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the personnel action as submitted. Any board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries unanimously. Are there any citizens here today who wish to speak before the board? Ms. Dow, do you have any cards?
No.
Thank you. Attorney comment. Ms. Young.
Nothing tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board member comment. We'll start with Mrs. Rendell.
Nothing tonight?
Okay, Mrs. Miller.
I just want to say I attended the Vineland Leader in Me Awards program, and of course the students showed their leadership, and there were many, many awards. It was a very nice program. And I'm sorry that today we could not be at Locomotion, and maybe next year we'll be able to reschedule. Thank you.
Mr. Vincent.
I have nothing.
Oh, my goodness. You guys are putting pressure on Mr. Swift.
I only have two things. One, I was speaking to Dr. Blanton this afternoon, who had a meeting earlier today with the House Appropriations Chairman, Marty Coley, and she feels very good about the $1 billion increase that was proposed by the governor for the budget as being a realistic number, and it actually could get a little bit higher than that, which will be of significant importance to all the districts in the state. Next week is the annual Florida School Board Association Day in the legislature, where a number of school board members from all over the state will be there to speak to their specific representatives on school issues. I will be there in attendance representing this district as well as the Florida School Boards Association, and we are looking forward to some positive communications. So far, everything we've been hearing has been pretty good, but nothing's a done deal until the gavel falls on the last day, so you never know. But I'm excited for the possibilities. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
And I just wanted to mention that the three-story building at Lemon Bay and the ribbon cutting, while I was unable to attend, many people from the community did attend, and I've gotten very positive feedback. People are very excited about the opening of that facility. And for Mr. Griner's pleasure, you'll be happy to know that next week at the day in the legislature that Mr. Swift was reporting about is yet another meeting of the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards. So we'll just have a few bills that come in from that, but this will be one of my last functions as serving as their president. So we're on the downswing. Mr. Superintendent, comments?
A couple of things this evening. One is we'd like to establish the dates for the March and April workshops.
Okay.
So if the board members have their calendars.
We were looking at March the 20th.
Yes, the morning of our next school board meeting.
We were looking at the Monday before, but then we would have to rearrange all of the pre-agendas, and this way staff members can think of Tuesday as kind of work day. 9 to noon on the 20th.
I'm fine.
Eileen?
Yes, sounds good.
I have one more calendar to check, just 1 second.
Ian's checking the calendar of his dog.
I'm good.
Mr. Swift, you're good as well? Perfect. And then in April,
So that'll be 9 to noon?
correct. 9 to noon on the 20th of March. The April date we were looking at was
Tuesday, April 10th.
Tuesday the 10th.
That's good.
Okay, 9 to noon.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if you would pencil in the morning of the next school board meeting, which is April 24th, if needed. So just, if you'd keep that morning free until we see what doesn't work for Mr. Swift.
I will, hopefully, I will be returning from the National School Board Association meeting that morning, but I'm not.
You were gone.
Mine is,
I think the second meeting you were going to be gone.
yeah, I think that is. I just don't have it on here.
So there'll be 2 gone.
Wait, let me see.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that one might
we'll
not work.
forego that one,
Yeah.
as long as we get that one in April,
Why don't I have that on here?
the first one. Which
You
would
want
be
to go
good.
to the next day? That's fine.
We were just going to, if it worked, we were just going to block it in case we needed it. But I don't anticipate needing an additional meeting.
And since we all have experience really moving.
That's right,
we
that new
can
magical
pack those
clock.
new agendas.
Yeah.
It was helpful.
Yeah,
It was.
Good
Dr.
meeting.
Widmeyer didn't like it, but the rest of us did.
Great meeting. Great workshop. Yeah, do it again.
Okay, we're all set on that?
So there's no date in April?
Just the
10th.
first, the
The
10th,
10th.
April
Okay,
10th.
just the 10th, yeah.
So it's just the one workshop in April. I just wanted to comment also on the external audit for our finances, not the internal account, but the external. The auditing firm mentioned a number of times in that report, if you read it, how cooperative and helpful the staff was. And I just want to thank our staff, the finance department especially, but others who are also involved in that for being authentic and transparent and open and being really helpful as well. It's one thing to just sort of be compliant, but they commented about how good it was to work with the folks in Charlotte County. So that's a positive reflection on our culture. I was at the Martin Luther King celebration on Saturday. Mr. Swift, Mrs. Miller. It was a very nice program. They started on time. They ended on time. Speaker who is very insightful. It felt like I was learning in a college classroom, and he did a real nice job. And also then left there, went to the science fair, which this year, the regional science fair was at FGCU in the Alico Arena. Very nice setup. Place is really conducive to science fair. We also had the inventors fair, and our kids they look great. They just look great. I wish I could take some of our community naysayers who want to complain about education down to that event, because the depth of knowledge and the extent of knowledge that is demonstrated by the students down there just absolutely blows you away. Our two Charlotte High girls that placed last year and went to international have taken the research to a whole new level. And the title of their project this year is Analyzing Mercury Concentrations in Water Sources with Brassica rapa through pure mercury calibration curving using IV vis spectroscopy, atomic absorption, and linear regression statistical analysis. I had to ask them what that meant.
I was saying, are you providing cheat sheet to explain what the title means?
I did the same thing yesterday.
Yeah, it's
the
really
project.
impressive, and what they've done is they've grown plants that take heavy metals out of water. Last year, they set up an internal area and just ran water past the plants. This year, they actually went to the Caloosahatchee, Myakka, and Peace Rivers, put the plants in the water, and then took the plants back out, ground up the root system, and did a very, very sophisticated analysis then of the root system. They've had to go to the University of Tampa, do a special lab, and get permission to use their microscopes
Did they
and
win?
equipment. I didn't hear the results. I have to ask Jackie.
I'm
to
thinking if
see.
they took some of that to the international
was,
fair last year and it wasn't even as
Yeah,
sophisticated.
the depth of their research and moving it out into real water and really building, and they've built then a prototype of a floating platform that could actually be used, dropped into the rivers and help clean the waters as they move from the tributaries into the open basins. So it's not just a theoretical, it's a very practical piece
I'm
of
here
work
to
as
tell
well.
you, we didn't do that when I was in high school.
No.
You know, they say our kids are not as bright as some other people were when they went to school, but I know none of our people did this kind of stuff.
This was amazing work, and you could go from child to child to child, and it was impressive stuff. I emailed our two daughters because they were both science majors, and my youngest daughter emailed back. She said, "Well, that beats the which color bird feeder will birds feed off of most science experiment that I did when I was in fourth grade."
That's funny.
Yeah, so it was really impressive, really impressive. It seemed to me, Mrs. Messina, there was one other thing that I was supposed to bring under my comments, and I can't recall exactly what that was. I jotted notes down, but if I've missed something, I'll just send an email out to everybody.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Then, yes, I would like to mention Chris Porter, who just walked in, mostly because you are a mentor with the Take Stock in Children program, and they took the time to introduce all the mentors at the beginning of the meeting, and we apologize that you were late, but we didn't want you to miss being recognized and appreciated for the work that you do with young children, so thank you.
I came to hear about the spectroscope.
Oh, yeah. If there's no further business to come before the board, meeting adjourned.